Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good morning, my dear students. This is Mr. Nabil Adam from Al-Barkia Secondary School. Today, I'm going to present a recorded lesson for grade 10. I'm going to present Unit 10, Lesson 3. Please open your workbook, page number 76 and 77. We are going to read an article, read a story, and then answer some question. Look at the picture here in the middle. The picture is about what? It's about fishing. Yes. So we are going to read a story and then answer a question. Let's start with a warming up question. In your opinion, what makes a person satisfied and happy in his life? There are many things that make a person satisfied and happy in his life. Can you give me examples? And what would you do if you were a millionaire? If I were a millionaire, I would. What would you do? What are the benefits of telling stories? Telling stories has some benefits. What are these benefits? Stories are the tools to wisdom and the wings for imagination. We can gain a lot of experience and knowledge. Telling stories can reduce social isolation. What are the types of stories? There are different types of stories. Stories that entertain and stories that give us morals in life, or they give us lessons in life. How do you think the stories in the Holy Quran benefit us? They give wisdom, inform us about past nations, and teach high morals. Again, in your opinion, what makes a person satisfied and happy in his life? Now, let's learn some new words. These are the new vocabulary you are going to study in this lesson. What would you do if you were a millionaire? If I were a millionaire, I would. Mr. Ghanem, who is a millionaire, has a fleet of ships. Fleet. Fleet. A group of boats belonging to one company. The government prepared a powerful fleet to protect the long coastline. They have a big quantity of fish every day as they have a big fleet. So a fleet is a group of boats belonging to one company. The millionaire firmly decided to retire, to relax and rest. Firmly retire. It's time to retire. Relax. You are enough. You have enough. You do enough. Retire with money. Retire. Time to retire. To stop working because you are at a certain age. His dream is to retire and live in the countryside. Retire. Mr. Jamal is expected to retire this year. He intends to run a private business. Firmly, firmly, strongly, and clearly. The Council is firmly committed to raising standards in education. Firmly, strongly, and clearly. The manager was pleased and shook the client's hand firmly. Some people chuckle when they read jokes. Chuckle. Chuckle. To laugh, especially quietly or inward. Chuckle. She chuckled gently when she heard the latest funny news. Chuckle. I chuckled when I was watching a comedy film. Now let's do vocabulary exercise. Fill in the blanks with the appropriate word from the list. You've got 4 words and 3 sentences. You've got 1.5 minutes to read and fill in. Retire, fleet, chuckled, firmly. Number 1. You are not going to the party, and that's that, my father said firmly. 2. Britain used to have the largest military fleet. 3. She, as she was reading the letter, she chuckled. So let's revise the new words we studied today. We studied 4 words: chuckle, firmly, fleet, retire. Examples: he chuckled as he read the comic situation. He chuckled as he read the comic situation, or as he was reading the comic situation. Firmly. He firmly believed that he was right. Fleet. He made his money with a fleet of moving vans. Retire. Employees can retire at 60 if they choose. Now let's do another vocabulary exercise. Fill in the space with the most suitable words from the list below. Chuckle, firmly, fleet, retire, economics. Please hold the baby or it will fall. Please hold the baby firmly. 2. My father intends to by the end of this year. My father intends to retire. 3. It is implied to add others' words. It is implied to chuckle. 4. We have a large of fishing ships that tour the oceans. We have a large fleet of fishing ships. The third exercise here, choose the most suitable answer from A, B, C, and D. Again, vocabulary exercise. Mary gently when she heard the latest news. What did Mary do when she heard the latest news? She retired, chuckled, instigated, recharged. Mary chuckled. She laughed quietly. My dream is to and live in a villa in France. My dream is to retire, chuckle, spur, barter. Retire. 3. We should support our candidate to help him win in the elections. How are we going to support our candidate? We are going to support our candidate courteously, crazily, notably, firmly. Firmly. The government prepared a powerful to protect the long coastline. The government prepared a powerful insolence, fleet, constancy, composure. A powerful fleet to protect the long coastline. Now, back to our lesson on page 76. Please open your workbook. You've got here 2 questions. Look at the picture and answer the questions. Before reading, A, what do you think the story is about? From the picture, guess and predict. What do you think the story is about? What do you think the 2 men are talking about? Boats, money, work, family. Now read your answers. What do you think the story is about? I think the story is about. What do you think the 2 men are talking about? Boats, money, work, family. I think the 2 men are talking about boats, money, work, family. Try to guess. Number 1, letter A. I think the story is about a fisherman and a businessman. B, what do you think the 2 men are talking about? I think the 2 men are talking about work. Now it's time to read. We are going to read silently to check our understanding or to check our answers are right or wrong, and then complete answering the next questions. Please read silently. Read the story and check your answers. Workbook page number 77. You've got exercise number 3. Read the story again and answer the questions from letter A to letter G. Why is the businessman in the fishing village? Why doesn't the fisherman try to catch more fish? What does the fisherman do in the evening? Why does the businessman suggest that the fisherman buy more boats? How long would it take the fisherman to become rich? What would he have to do to become a millionaire? How would he spend his time after this? Find the answers for these questions from the article. Now check your answers. Why is the businessman in the fishing village? He is on holiday. The businessman is in the fishing village because he is on holiday. Why doesn't the fisherman try to catch more fish? He has enough fish for his family. The fisherman doesn't try to catch more fish because he has enough fish for his family. What does the fisherman do in the evening? He walks to the village, has some tea with his friends, and plays chess. The fisherman walks to the village, has some tea with his friends, and plays chess in the evening. Why does the businessman suggest that the fisherman buy more boats? He suggests that the fisherman would catch more fish. How long would it take the fisherman to become rich? It would take him 15 or 20 years to become rich. What would he have to do to become a millionaire? He'd have to sell his company. He would have to sell his company to become a millionaire. How would he spend his time after this? He would be able to retire and move to a small fishing village. He would be able to sleep late, fish a little, play with his grandchildren, talk to his wife, walk to the village, have some tea with his friends, and play chess. Exercise number 4. Find words or phrases with these meanings in the text. Check your answers in the dictionary or in the glossary. Here you can see paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and paragraph 3. Small town. Small town. What does a small town mean? It's a village. Okay. Now, by the sea. By the sea. 3 words here. By the sea. What does by the sea mean? A town by the sea where ships arrive and leave from. Give me one word. Paragraph 2. In the end, especially after a long delay. Give me one word. Place where the public can buy food and other things. Where can the public buy food and other things? Rich. Give me a word which means rich. Paragraph 3. To stop working, usually because you are at a certain age. This is one of the new words you started today. Give me one word. A change one's place of residence or work. H. A board game of strategic skill for 2 players. One word. Now think about these and find the words from the story or the text and write them in the space. Check your answers. A small town is called a village. By the sea, on the coast. As you see here, it's written 3 words in brackets. A town by the sea where ships arrive and leave from. Port. Paragraph 2. In the end, especially after a long delay. Eventually. So eventually means in the end or finally after a long delay. A place where the public can buy food and other things. Market. So the public can buy food and other things at the market. Rich means wealthy or affluent. Wealthy is found in the text. Paragraph 3. To stop working, usually because you are at a certain age. Retire. To change one's place of residence or work. Move. A board game of strategic skill for 2 players. Chess. Now it's time to read. Reading time. Let's practice reading aloud. A businessman was on holiday in a little fishing village on the coast. As he was looking at the sea, a small boat with a fisherman came slowly into the port. In the boat with the fisherman were several large fish. The businessman started talking to the fisherman. Great fish, he said. How long did it take you to catch them? Not very long, the fisherman replied. Why don't you stay at sea longer and catch more fish? Asked the businessman. Because I've got enough fish for my family, replied the fisherman. How do you spend the rest of your time? Asked the businessman. The fisherman said, I sleep late, fish a little, play with my children, talk to my wife. In the evening, I walk to the village, have some tea with my friends, and play chess. I have a very busy life. The businessman smiled. I am a businessman, he said firmly. I can help you. If you spend more time fishing, you will have more money and you will be able to buy a bigger boat. If you had a bigger boat, you would catch more fish and you could buy another boat. Eventually, you would have a fleet of boats. You would have so many fish. You could open your own fish market. Then you could leave this village and move to the city and live like a rich businessman. But how long will this take? The fisherman asked. 15 or 20 years, replied the businessman. And what then? Asked the fisherman. The businessman chuckled. Ha ha, that's the best part, he said. When the time is right, you could sell your company and become very wealthy, maybe a millionaire. Me, a millionaire? Said the fisherman. Then what? The businessman said. Then you could retire, move to a small fishing village where you could sleep late, fish a little, play with your grandchildren, and talk to your wife. In the evening, you could walk to the village, have some tea with your friends, and play chess. After reading, suggest a title for the story. Then describe the moral of the story. Choose a title for the story of businessman, the fisher, and the fisherman. And what is the moral lesson? What do you learn from the story? Contentment is an endless treasure. Contentment is an endless treasure. القناعة والرضا كنز لا يفنى. We can say this is a best title. Or another title, money doesn't make happiness. المال لا يصنع السعادة. What is the moral of the story? You can lead a happy life without having a lot of money. You don't have to be a millionaire to enjoy your life. I think this is the moral of the story. Question number 6, over to you. Which is more important, stories that entertain or stories that have a moral message, and why? I think stories that entertain is more important because I think stories that have a moral message are important because, and so you have to mention why. The stories that have a moral message are more important because they stuck in mind and give us a life lesson, or they give us a lesson in our life. Again, which is more important, stories that entertain or that have a moral message, and why? I think that stories with a moral message are more important than stories that entertain because we can always learn something from them. Let's have here some simple question concerning the lesson. What makes a person satisfied and happy in life? He should have enough money to live and have a pleasant job. He should have good family ties or relationships. In your opinion, what can people do after retirement? They can take up a hobby and read books. They can visit relatives and friends. Which is more important, stories that entertain or that have a moral message, and why? Stories that have a moral message, of course, are important because they will be stuck in mind and they give lessons in life. What makes a person satisfied and happy in his life or her life? Enough money to live, good family ties, a pleasant job. What can people do after they retire? They can take up a hobby, they can read books, they can visit relatives and friends. Having much money is the main cause of happiness. Do you agree with this or not? Justify. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to complete your workbook lesson 3.